Broadcasting from the Blanchistan Centre. This is Phoenix FM.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and shows.
According to the Nerd Index, you should be upside down in a junior high toilet around the clock.
This is We'll do it live! Time goes in, time goes out. Never miscommunication.
It's over 9,000! My name is Foxy.
The balls are in there.
Don't face me, bro! It's a trap! I'm a firing believer! Time to Hey, Cherry, wake up! Oh, God, oh, man!
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd to Know Basis Show, airing on Phoenix 92.5 FM and all those other wonderful places on the internet, such as Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and of course our own website. I am Cian, and we have a roundtable discussion this week with Kev and Dara. Let's go in alphabetical order. Dara, how are you doing?
Ahoy, how are you? Can I just say, last week we kind of got off track a little bit with the hockey, right? But I do have an update, right? So if you're looking to find where you can watch NHL hockey, the season just started, right? So the Golden Knights, my sister was in Vegas and she was there for the opening of the Golden Knights hockey season. So I'm very upset that I wasn't there for that. And she didn't go. Can you believe that? It is not fair. My sister also got to meet Karen Gillan in person on a 3-hour flight in the States. And she didn't know who she was. Moral of the story, folks, sometimes life is unfair. The point I was making is, though, if you want to watch NHL hockey in Ireland for free and you have Disney Plus, get a VPN, swap it over. NordVPN is pretty good. We're not sponsored by them. I wish we were. And then you can just get American Disney Plus, which also includes ESPN, which also includes free hockey. Boom.
Okay, could we in editing put the sound of me like walking down a long corridor followed by a car speeding off? You promised us no hockey talk.
I was just helping the people. I am a public servant.
Which people?
The hockey people.
And how did you sneak Karen Gillan into that little how are you doing?
It was so jam-packed. Like, it was a real cluster bomb of just information.
You saw just a minute where you have to say a story in a minute without repeating yourself. And you have to get it in the time frame. That was ridiculous. In that sense, but ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's an impressive drama feat. And if I may, maybe she would have recognized Karen Gillan if she shaved her head. If she was bald.
See, that's the thing. It was before she had shaved her head. Or it's because she wore a wig a bunch as well when she did for the MCU, but I was just like, how did you not know? And then I realized my sister, while she is a nerd, she's not really that much of a nerd, and she wouldn't have watched Doctor Who, and she's kind of feet wet with the MCU, and I was just like, oh, fair enough. But I'm still just like, I can't believe you are sitting beside someone who is actually really, and apparently she was really, really nice. But the bottom line is my sister goes to America a lot, as I do, but when she goes, she runs into random really famous people, or is at really famous events and just completely just no-sells it.
Well, obviously there's no famous people at hockey events, you know?
Of course, well, that's the thing. The thing about the Golden Knights is they're the big team in Vegas, and they obviously make a big song and dance out of it. They closed down all of downtown Las Vegas to have a medieval military parade, basically, and it's really cool to see. And also, they're also a really good team.
I don't even believe I'm Kev. And we're going to stop the hockey talk right this second.
No, we're in the middle of this.
Yeah, we haven't done the how are yous yet.
Bottom line is, folks, if your life, I just want to pitch something, right, to the good people. If your life is kind of rocky at the moment and you're like, oh my God, things are so bad, or you're just bored and you're like, what do I do? Just watch, play, or enjoy ice hockey. It makes everything a lot better.
In the golden age of streaming, where there literally isn't enough time to watch all the stuff that's being made, you want people to suddenly, now no disrespect to hockey, but you want people to drop everything, take up this sport, which is barely played in Ireland at all.
That's the point. That's why we need to get more bodies playing the game and watching it, and then we can get.
We have hurling.
That is not comparable. You don't get to slam people at 30 miles an hour on ice.
You do with a ball.
Yeah, but they also don't get paid, which is a bummer. At least they pay ice hockey players.
I'm sure some of them do.
No, they don't. No one in GAA gets paid. Except, well, who plays it?
At all.
No. Do you not notice?
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, but my understanding is that nobody actually gets paid. It's all like play for county or voluntary or whatever it is.
I'm sure there's like amateur leagues, but there's definitely someone somewhere gets paid.
Someone tell me. I don't want to look this up because I don't care. The point is we should get rid of GAA and replace it with ice hockey.
You don't want that clip. You don't want that audio clip taken out. Someone looks it up for me because I don't want to. I don't care. This is the journalistic integrity
in my
that we have reached.
In my personal opinion, right, I would think both can exist, but standing out in the rain just doesn't seem like a good time. Standing in a cool, like literally cool ice rink where they like drop pizza from the sky and there's fireworks and music and fights, that's a lot better than standing on a cold pitch to nobody. Anyway, I will drop the hockey thing.
From what I remember of actually skating on ice, that seems stressful enough without adding being punched in the face to the equation.
I'm going to get punched in the face a little bit. Then you can punch him in the face. It's fine. Just look.
To answer your question, no GAA players do not get paid. However, they do get paid through sponsorship.
Told you. There you go. See, Darrow was right.
I'm sorry? Do you refer to yourself?
Yes, in the third person, like The Rock.
Kean is concerned.
We should do the podcast just in third person.
Kev is what?
Kevin is content.
Kevin is content. Okay, we shall move on from the hockey talk.
Evan still hasn't introduced himself.
Okay, Kev, introduce yourself, please, sir.
Well, I'm Kev, and I don't know if regular listeners have noticed this, but I've not been here.
You've not been here. We've missed you greatly. We've missed you.
And to Dara's question of, what to do when times are hard, I found an alternative method of whiling away truly too much time to escape from the world. That's because a little video game actually launched about a month ago. That has become an actual would be a problem if my wife didn't play it as well. And that's a little video game called Hades 2.
I was about to say, if you bring a hockey game into this,
it's a hook.
Like, you make me free nervous there.
A little hockey league.
I have 27 hours in NHL 2024.
Well, I think I've got about 40 into Hades 2 right now, so
See, that's fair. I mean, okay, so I played a lot of Hades 1, right? I don't really like roguelikes, but Hades just kind of scratched that itch. And also, I really like Cult of the Lamb. They're very similar. Give us your full review of Hades 2, because I've kind of been on the fence to actually get it.
Well, that's it. I'd like to kind of start it off. I think we talked about it on the show when it came out, because Hades was just an event. Like, it felt big.
Could you recap for the benefit of everyone in case they don't know?
So Hades is a Greek mythology themed roguelike game where the basic premise is that you are trying to escape from the House of Hades, the Greek underworld. You're the son of Hades, you're trying to get out for various reasons that kind of the point of why is part of the sell of the game. But the system of the game, the premise is that you basically try to get as far as you can in a run, fighting through various action rooms with dudes, and eventually you die and end up back at the start, back in the House of Hades. The trick, and that's kind of the basic premise of a roguelike, but the trick that Hades pulls is that every time you die and restart, the room of the House of Hades and the NPCs that inhabit it, their character and narrative plot lines progress as you continue to revisit it upon death. So you're having your
Okay, so death actually has a continuity consequence.
Yeah, and it's not. Rarely did a death feel disappointing. You get so far into a run, you're you get cut off at the last second. You're like, that run's ruined. And same with any roguelikes, any status perks or anything like that get cut, and you basically start from zero again. But when you die and restart, there's no narrative context you get to pick up that you hadn't before. So it did kind of have this recursive loop that has the same like addictive quality that the sequel has, where everything's broken up, where a run mostly lasts about like a half an hour. You play a run, you die, you end up back at the start. You spend about 20 minutes going and talking to the inhabitants of the House of Hades. And like, you know, specking for the next run, talking to this person. You can customize the house as well. And like kind of all that. And then by that 20-minute time, you're kind of back at the start of the next run. You're back at the gate that like lets you out to the next run. You're like, I could go for another run. And it's just that recursive loop. And it's super addictive. So I'm actually, I genuinely, I'm surprised we never sold you on this, Cian, because it's like the perfect Switch game. Like,
You are talking me into it now. I have seen Hades go on sale now and again.
it's worth it at like full price. I think it's only ever like 30 quid. But
I will say, okay, it's the perfect Switch. Here's the 3 perfect Switch games, right? Hades 1 or 2, Vampire Survivors, and Cult of the Lamb. They all have the same kind of 30-second play loops or 30-minute play loops.
I never, no,
That's
that's your Vampire.
SPL goes on it. I'm waiting for that day.
Hold on, Kev, you haven't played Vampire Survivors?
I haven't played Vampire Survivors. Like, it's been on the periphery for a while, but I did like,
Oh my God, dude.
this year.
I will warn you though, you will lose time so easily. Like, I only played that.
Do this again.
Yeah, you can't. What I will say is, right, the way to play Vampire Survivors is when you're on a plane and you have nothing else to do, and it just makes a flight to England feel like a sec, like, because it's literally one run, you know. But yeah, no, it's that same kind of like, just one more run, and then you're just like, oh my God, 4 a.m. No,
So Hades came out about 2020. I played it into the ground. It's also a game that has like, you know, you hit the credits, but that's not the real ending. It has like further endings, so it truly can go. It goes on for like 60 odd hours. But eventually managed to like hit the end of it and put it down. Thankfully, from around 1982. So it's been about 4 or 5 years since I played Hades then. So I think the itch was starting to crawl back up for another one. So Hades 2 release. What I'd say about Hades 2 is it is Hades again, but more. And to this, actually, I would say, Cian, if you are at all interested, start with Hades 1. Because Hades 2, mechanically and narratively, kind of rely on you having some level of investment in its first game. Like, the entire premise of Hades 2 is that the House of Hades and the Mount of Olympus have fallen, the gods are at war, and the Titan Kronos is back from the dead. So it kind
of funny. I'm getting like a sort of a more like pixelified, like God of War vibe off this.
Yeah, there's a bit of that. I'd say like it's less like, and I mean this in the most loving way, hateful than God of War. But that is kind of the point. Like, you know, Kratos just spends its time like so they're really done with her. No, but like
story-wise, reminded me of those Stephen Fry books you're pitching to me years ago.
Like that's
has the absurdity of the Greek stories in it. Like,
yeah, it understands the kind of like, you know, how ridiculous a lot of the myths can get and just kind of plays into that. But no, the whole like, so the premise of Hades 2 then is that you're however long, because time is also kind of meaningless in like, you know, mythology. After Hades 1, Hades and Persephone have a daughter called Melinoe. The whole thing kicks off. The House of Hades collapses. Melinoe gets taken into the woods by the witch Hecate, trained up, and you are basically told from birth you have to go and kill Kronos and reclaim your house.
Kronos being one of the old titans, right?
One of the old titans, yeah. They refer to the ground down here a lot.
Right. Is he the one who holds up the sky?
No, that's Atlas.
Oh, of course that's Atlas. Right,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, Kronos is Zeus's dad. Try to eat him. Titan of time.
This is what I mean about the absurdity.
Yeah. But so just like as I said, it's very much more, but introduces it a lot faster than Hades 1 that I think would be overwhelming to new players. But on top of it's the same structure of you're trying to make your way down to the House of Hades to defeat Kronos and that recursive loop of repeating on death. On top of that, though, there's a whole second route of going up Olympus to try and save the gods of Olympus from that secondary assault. So now there's basically double the route. Also adds into that recursive loop, because if you get tired of going one direction, you could spend another 2 hours going the other way. And
But you don't have to walk back every single step, though.
yeah, but it's because of the variety of different weapons and boons and combat perks you get. No one run is the same, because some things are randomized and it'll encourage you to try different weapons, because one of the new weapons will have a random stat buff of a given day. So it's constantly encouraging you to try different builds, try different runs, and then as you go up, you're gathering completely randomized boons. So no, although it's the same format and track, no two runs are the exact same. And it's so cleverly mechanically designed in a balanced format that I think I seem to remember that an interview with the developer where they would there was a kind of an inbuilt difficulty balancing where if they noticed you weren't quite pushing the scale or getting past any of the mini bosses, they would suddenly front load you with more more damage hitting boons, more high defense boons.
Okay.
And just pushing it over and getting you making you feel that lucky edge is just around the corner, and so that you can actually progress and beat that boss. You may need to confirm that for me. I'm pretty sure that was something they had designed.
But okay, but one thing I'm getting a bit lost on is what is the actual mechanics of the game? Is it slashing? Is it combat?
Yeah, it's a top-down isometric hack and slash.
Oh, okay, so kind of free roaming hack and slash. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's a very top-down action game. But just as I said, there's about 5 different main weapons, all of which have increasing variety, all of which are just completely distinct in themselves and have variety in how they can be used depending on boons and depending on different buffs and things. So the variety of what you can do is pretty crazy.
Okay, well then you've kind of just to kind of tie it all kind of up then, what is the thing that keeps you coming back to this game the most?
Oh, it's that one more run feeling. It is that it's that feeling in the back of your brain of if I do it differently this time, I'll win.
I have that with Faster Than Light back in the day.
Yeah. But again, I said it at the top of because you don't get that disappointment of failing a run, because every time you end up back in the crossroads or back in the House Hades in the first game, you get more narrative. The story progresses. It's just it's a recursive feedback loop of, well, I've just spoken to these guys and progressed this storyline and I know a little bit more about the world. But if I just...
It doesn't feel like you sunk your time in something and it doesn't pay off.
Exactly. And then by the time you hit that gate, you're oh, well, if I tried this one new mechanic, maybe then I'll win. And you're just right back in the cycle. I love it so much and it's a problem.
Okay, well, you have done a good job selling me on it. Before I kind of ask my last question, Dara, is there anything you'd like to ask? Since I know you're a bit of a classics buff yourself.
By classics buff, you mean has half a PhD in classics?
Yeah, a bit of a fan.
Just a bit of a fan. No.
Well, I mean, you can study something and not necessarily like it. So, I didn't want to assume.
I wouldn't have spent 8 years studying it and teaching it. It. But anyway.
Well, I just noticed you're oddly quiet considering this is your mastermind specialist subject.
Yeah, because I was eating a burrito.
That's the only reason.
That's true. But yeah. So, we've gotten so good at doing this podcast that I can multitask. So, yeah, no, I mean...
Well, no, you're single tasking while podcasting. It's not the same thing.
That's true. And now everyone knows why we're not a video podcast. But anymore. But, no, my question would be, Kev, so obviously the first one was very, very good. It has the same elements. It kind of builds on it. It does what you want sequels to do, where it's give you more of a... Sorry, give you familiarity, but more of it, you know? So it seems like that's what he did. But my question would be like, why buy Hades 2? You know, if you can go in and play Hades 1 and complete it and then leave it, is it because the mechanics have been tweaked in any way, or is it because the story is better? Like, what's the unique selling point of Hades 2 over Hades 1?
I would say like I think like it is actually just it's less even the what's different about it is just that it's more of that. It's because like obviously the other thing I don't really touch on with Hades 1 is that like visually and auditorially, like the music, like Hades 1 is gorgeous and its music is incredible. So even like just having more variation of that is almost selling point enough. And especially because Hades 2, I think Hades 1, I think delved pretty like deep into some of the less popular like myths. Not the ones that like not everyone would know as well. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think Hades 2 now is taking the opportunity to go over a lot more of like the, you know, the more well-trodden myths. Like one of the main companions in your house is Odysseus.
Right.
My personal favorite like thing they've done in Hades 2 is one of the sub bosses is Scylla, the like tentacle monster, but she's the singer of a rock band called Scylla and the Sirens.
That's really sad.
And when you go down, the song that's playing in the background is their song. And then when you go back, they have an entirely different song that is about how much they hate you specifically.
Oh, that's incredible. You know, that's great though. I mean, the Trojan War like myth stuff has always been really, really good. Like even it's mad how pervasive it still is and always has been. Like it's probably the most famous myth in the world. Particularly in I was gonna say the Western world, but I mean there is no myth that's more pervasive that people are aware of. At least some aspect of it. You know, be it the Apple launching 1,000 ships, obviously the Trojan horse. Yeah, exactly. Like there's just these different elements of it, you know? And it's still really interesting that it's coming back, you know, in such a profound way. I mean, for me, my interest with the Trojan War is like it's very, very niche, and you think hockey's annoying. Get me talking about classics, and you'll really be like, oh my god, there, shut up. But yeah, I would say if you want to see Scylla in person, you can, and there's a place called Spelunca outside of Rome. And it was Emperor Tiberius's personal pleasure palace. And some of the, like they've reconstructed some of the statues that he had at his dinner table, and one of them is a huge statue of Scylla. Like it's huge, and she's in the middle of eating people, and it's like this is so metal, you know. So it's kind of cool that she's getting representation like that. It's very neat, and that's when Martin actually told me about Hades initially, and he was like, oh, there, you'd love this, you know, and he was right. It has everything that you kind of want, so it's going to be added to the list. But in my great shame, I will admit I've not finished Hades fully yet. So the next question I have, and I'll end on this, Kev, if you haven't finished Hades 1 fully, should you pick up Hades 2, or should you wait until your backlog is clear?
I'd say like if you haven't finished Hades and you still want to finish it, like that's the main thing. You're not going to get much more having not played one. Like if you still think there's some meat on the bones of one, eat that. Like it is still an incredible game. If you have and want more, Hades 2 is there. I wouldn't say you need to have finished Hades 1 to get Hades 2. It's distant, like narratively it is distant enough if you just like read an ending guide and just kind of pick up.
Okay. Fair enough.
Excellent. Well, I want to point out that we have a big topic to cover, and I suspect Dara has a lot of thoughts on this because I believe you saw Tron Ares. Is that correct?
I have seen our Tron Ares twice.
Right. Well, and before we get into the meat and potatoes of the film, we should kind of put our cards on the table. I haven't seen the original Tron, but I am a fan of the second one. I believe it's called Tron Legacy. Kev, you are a complete outsider to Tron. Do you know anything about it?
My only exposure to Tron at all is the Tron levels in the two Kingdom Hearts games I played. The Tron level in Kingdom Hearts 1 and the Tron 2 level in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance.
Yes. Okay, well then you know the gist. It's like, it's in pop culture. It's like, you go into a computer, you go around on the bikes. There's users, there's programs, and all that kind of stuff. So I also know that you have a lot of feelings about the lead of this film. So why don't you take us into why you saw this film twice, Dara?
Because it's fan. Word I'm not out there on the radio. Tastic. It is one of the
Oh,
best.
really?
Yeah.
That is not the impression I've gotten from the reviews.
Yeah. I mean, but have you seen what the reviews are saying?
I mean, I've read some of them, yeah.
So I think a lot of this is culture war stuff where they're like, there's a woman and she's Asian and she's not related to any of our main villains, so we hate her and she has plot armor and it's girl boss. And I mean, look, I'm willing to hear both sides when that argument is brought out, because it's like, okay, maybe you are pushing something or it hurts the story in any way. But this one in particular, I mean, it's tiresome now to wheel those out all the time for everything that has a woman in it. It's like, come on, like, what are you doing? At some point, it is just misogyny or racism.
Well, let's back up a tiny bit then, because I haven't seen the film. What's the film about?
Yeah, so the film is based probably 10 years, give or take, after the last one. So obviously the last one was a follow-up to the original Tron movie where, as you said, goes into the system. Tron's a security program, and then it's mainly based in the grid. 20 years later, there's the legacy sequel with Flynn's son, who also goes into the grid, manages to get a program out, and then they go off on their adventures. Now, what's interesting about this one is it's still based in a grid, but it's mainly about programs leaving the grid into the real world and then trying to find a MacGuffin of the permanence code, which is code that makes machines been able to be lasered in and stick around for more than 30 minutes.
Like a reverse Tron thing. It's certain things are kind of 3D printed out of Tron into the real world.
Correct. Now, that's basically the MacGuffin, and Dillinger's son, who was in the first movie, has taken over, and he's played by Evan Peters, and basically he's trying to get the code before Exxon's CEO, who isn't Flynn, and this is where the controversy comes in. It's a pair of sisters, one of them died of cancer, and the other one is trying to find her, Flynn's original code that will give them the edge. So that's basically what it is, and it's about as complex as that. There's no more to it. Jared Leto plays Ares, who's a security program, kind of like Tron, like Dillinger's Tron. That's what he is. He's like, Tron was the reflection of Flynn as a program. Ares is just a super security program that gets brought in, and then Athena as well is the female version of Ares, right? Tron himself isn't in the movie. They don't really go to Exxon's grid that much. They spend a lot of time in Dillinger's grid, and then there's like a couple of callbacks and homages and stuff like that. So I kind of knew what I was getting in for. I was shocked that the hostility towards it is so vast. Like, it's like,
well, I'll tell you what, then. That's like, not to gonna go in the deep end with the hostility, but let me it's just say
it's across the board.
I've read, then you can kind of refute them, because like, I'm not going to pretend I haven't seen the film. I'm not going to assess it, but I am curious. So the main things I've heard about the film are that it's not set in the Tron world, and it's very derivative of things like, say, the Terminator with the Jared Leto character, and sort of like there's a bit of Matrix in there. and like it feels like a lot of things that already exist that slammed together, but not really being a Tron movie itself. Like, does this feel like, what is it?
Yeah, I
think
think
really hooks you, you know?
I think that's fair. I think that's a real, like, there's obviously the side that's going to be pushing the culture war thing, which, you know, I really just want to park that and go, in this case, it's completely misguided. Like, it's not really a thing. I mean, come on, it really is what it is. Like, I understand the issue with, well, Flynn's son isn't there. Whereas, like, yeah, they're probably going to be in the fourth movie. Like, this movie's world building, right?
Oh, they scrapped Cillian Murphy as well. He was supposed to be the next of the David Warner presidents.
Where he was there, he's in Legacy, but he was
He's in one scene, but like obviously he's meant to come back. Like,
well, maybe not. I mean, I don't really know. I think this movie was, to answer your question, I think this movie is world building. You know, like,
okay,
they had to build out something in the real world because the first two movies were very much, for the most part, in the grid. Now, to answer your question, yeah, some people have been like, I wish this movie was in the grid, and I kind of do as well. But for me, I'm like, no, this is actually rather interesting. But then it poses the question, well, how do you do that, right? How do you actually do machines in reality? And then you run into the Terminator thing, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean, like, we're having this recursive loop, to borrow a term from Kev earlier on, where it's like, Tron did everything first. Everyone copied off Tron. Tron's copying off everyone. It's like, no, they did it first. You know, it's like, Tron was so ahead of its time when it came out that everyone used it as its barometer, and they kind of did it better. And now people are like, oh, it's like this. It's like, no, well, Tron was like that, you know? So I can understand some of the criticism in that sense. It's just, I think where this falls down really, and it does fall down in certain points, it's how you go in to see it, right? If you're going in expecting the greatest movie of all time, you're going to be disappointed. If you're going in, but I would say if you're going in to see a movie that's like Tron Legacy, you're going to be fairly disappointed. I mean, that's true. However, if you're going in for a spectacle that world builds on this as a new foundation linchpin, because it's been like, what, 10 years, 15 years since the last one?
that's about right, yeah.
Yeah, like, Tron is just, hold on, let me finish the point before I jump on. If you go in and to go see a decent movie that's trying to give something firm to stand on, I think that's where most people should have seen it in this way. That's not what happened. Tron has, and it continues to be, where it's like, it fails at the box office, people don't go see it, and then it becomes a massive cult hit, and it repeats. We've seen this happen twice now at this point, and I guarantee, mark my words down, this will be the same. The soundtrack is out of this world good, right? The Daft Punk soundtrack,
it's always the way,
yeah, like Daft Punk soundtrack's unbelievable, right? But that goes without saying. 9 Inch Nails, obviously, it's a different kind of take on it, but my God, I've just been listening to it constantly. Now, another way to see it, if you go see it in IMAX, or even in 4D, I saw it on 4D last night after the game, it's a whole different thing. You know, it's just like, there's a certain amount of buy-in that you need to have with it, where it's like, look, it's goofy as all hell. None of this is even kind of possible. They literally say that this is ridiculous and not possible in the movie. But the way they managed to bring like, Tron was always about bringing computing to life. And it's like, there's a really cool scene in it where there's a red team versus a blue team hacking, right? And that's just cool because they're not just typing away on keyboards and shit's running around, and stuff's just running around the place. It's like there's two physical, like, teams of soldiers fighting each other in, like, martial arts displays. And it's like such a cool way of being like, oh yeah, I never thought that's what's actually what hacking is like, you know? As someone who does it, as someone who, like, works in that industry, it's really cool for it to see it being represented in that way. There's also some cool themes in it as well. It's been like, how far are we going with technology? If something like this existed, should we use it? It taps into AI as well, and obviously that's kind of everywhere right now. So, is it the smartest movie in the world? No. Is it as smart as 1 and 2? Hell no. But is it a very, very good movie that I think people are either attacking it because they're missing the point, or attacking it to push an agenda, or attacking it, there's a third option, because they're just really snooty.
this is what I want to kind of touch on, because as somebody who I think would normally be bought in on like a low intellectual, high spectacle sci-fi movie, obviously with a killer Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, the biggest like stumbling block for me is the face on all the posters of a man I absolutely loathe.
Yeah.
How do you find getting over the Jared Leto of it all?
Okay, so that's a full.
Been circling the drain topic-wise this for a while.
So I was hoping, I had to get everything else off the table first, right? And I think we've done that.
Because it will consume the conversation. Yeah.
Look, I love Jared Leto, right? I love Morbius. I think it's one of my favorite films of all time. I was happy to see him. To be fair, I had no notes. I thought it was perfect. However, that's me, right? And I just like the memes of it. I just think it's funny. Now, here's some questions that, Kev, I wasn't able to rationalize or get around or see past. He's supposed to be a computer program, right? And the bags under that man's eyes are really, really off-putting, and particularly when you see it in like ultra high definition, 4K, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, he's a computer program. Why does he have such aggressive bags under his eyes? Like, there's a vein looking like it's about to pop. So I'm like, right, there's no kind of consistency there. His acting actually isn't too bad in this movie, to be fair. He acts a lot better than he did in Morbius, but there are certain bits of time where he delivers lines like he would in Morbius. And yes, it's not Morbin time, it's Tron in time. That's the best bit of the movie, where he turns to the camera and he Trons all over that guy.
Yeah, I can't even tell if you're joking.
I'm totally joking. He doesn't say that at all. But he does deliver the line.
I doubt you for a second, but Tronin sounds so bad. It sounds like the kind of thing they would put in a film.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, I don't think they missed the mark too much with him, right? I don't know who you could put in there other than him. And even the one who's
plenty of people who can play a computer.
Any some white man could have done. Like, but any of them.
I would say the girl that they got to play Athena, she was in The Acolyte, and she's actually not bad in this movie, because she literally, one of the biggest criticisms about The Acolyte was she acts like a robot, and this really suits her. So she just plays that for the rest of her career. She's set, But Jared Leto, it's not that he behaves like a robot. It's that he doesn't behave like a robot. He delivers the lines too human sometimes, and yeah, I can see why it doesn't work. And Kev, if you don't like him, you're really not going to like him, but what I will say is
fair.
No, but what I will say is, though, it's not ostentatious, he doesn't take over the film. You're still able to just watch it and go, yeah, okay, I kind of want to see what's going on, because the world is such a interesting bit of building that they're doing, because obviously, like, you have like the corporate structure of these two companies fighting each other. Evan Peters is in it, and I love Evan Peters. He's one of my favorite actors that I'll just watch in anything.
Oh, he's like phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's
no argument,
and he's absolutely fantastic in this. Your one who played Scully randomly shows up, and I was like, oh my god, it's Scully. Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Gillian Anderson.
That's the one, yeah. And yeah, so the casting actually isn't too bad around them. It is just kind of like, yeah, he's in it, but when they're jumping back and forward between the CEO, Eva, I think her name is, she's actually quite boring. She's the worst part of the movie, not Leto Aries, because what she's doing is, to be fair, rather boring. She's just on his computer screen, which they've never actually managed to make that not look really boring. And then when you're seeing what Ares is doing, is he's in the fight scenes, he's gone through the grid, he's doing all the hacking stuff. It's just there's a lot more action going. The set pieces as well are quite well shot. The CGI is obviously pretty decent, and the soundtrack as well is also fantastic. So, if you go in with the expectation of, look, you're going to see a lot of Jared Leto, it's not so bad.
Because like the Leto scale I'll use pretty regularly is one of my favorite movies of recent memory is Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, it's about the same. It's about the scale.
Like, he's in that movie, but not enough for it to be a problem.
You know what, for right?
Can I stop in for a second there? Because like, I have...
Okay, just before you do. Kev, Blade Runner 2099 is actually very similar to this.
Okay.
That's what it kind of... It's... Yeah, he's there, and it's annoying that he's there, but he doesn't ruin the movie.
Okay. You've piqued my interest more than it had been.
Sorry, King, go on.
Okay, no, I just want to say, like, I've got his filmography, like, in front, and, you know, this isn't a personal drama podcast. I don't want to get into, like, you know, saying mean things for the sake of it, but I think we should just sort of look at the fact that, like, you know, obviously he's, like, famous, and he kind of kicked around small roles, like, in Fight Club and, like, American Psycho and stuff in, like, the 2000s, and I think the first thing I remember noticing him was the Dallas Buyers Club back in 2013, which he got the Oscar for.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Since then, he has been, like, a weird poison to these major, like, no, hang on, hear me out. I'm like,
Go on.
just let me finish. Look, just in a commercial sense, if nothing else, because you have Suicide Squad, which people took against his Joker even before the film came out. You've got, like, House of Gucci, which isn't, like, a tentpole thing, but, like, he was, like, the one character people didn't like in it. You've got Morbius, which is its own thing. Haunted Mansion, which I think he was in and, like, torpedoed, like, before it even came out. You've Tron now. You had, I suppose to some extent, you've the Justice League. My point is, he's this weird, paradoxical figure who is marketable enough to have a film, but that no one seems to have a particular attachment to. You get where I'm coming from? Like, I know people who didn't go to see Tron Ares because he was in it. I just want your thought on what the weird... That's... What? Was it the actress?
Hold on, okay.
On here.
Okay, hold on. Kev, why though?
A man runs a cult.
Okay, fair.
That's not like a rumor. That is an unequivocal fact. He advertised.
Well, Ben, would you like to... Well, see, you know what? I was going to avoid going into this kind of stuff, but since you've just, like, spilt the ink all over the page there, why don't you tell us a little tiny bit about that then?
Well, no, he advertises a wellness retreat that is basically where people go and worship him as some sort of messiah. No.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, this is legitimate. Like, this is a thing he advertises. No, the man is a self-aggrandized rag. I hate him. And on top of all that, he's a terrible actor. So no, like that. So no, he has enough loathing for me to put me off a movie, which is why I was asking Dara, like, how much, considering his face has been, like, on the advertisement of this thing, plastered everywhere. I want to know how much of him is actually in the movie. Because again, it is a movie that fundamentally I think I would enjoy, but I probably just won't go to the cinema for it. But yeah, no, like,
but that is the best way to see it. And the only reason why is because when you're in an IMAX screen, it's like Avatar, right? Those movies are stupid. They're dumb. They have no reason to exist. Another one just came out. Do you know that? Did you know another Avatar movie came out?
I don't think it's out yet.
No, yeah, but it's out in the next week or two, and I'm not, or it's already been out.
About you, yeah. No, my brother's big in the Avatar world.
Okay,
get the updates from
me. And literally, he's probably the only one in the world.
No, you're also me. I will give money to James Cameron no matter what.
Okay. Well, this is exactly the point I'm making, right? Those movies are dumb as all hell. I enjoy them, and I never think about them again. But you go see them in the cinema, and you're like, yeah, it was grand. It's the same movie over and over again. And that's what this movie kind of is as well. It's a spectacle movie. And look, is Jared Leto in it? Yeah. Does he run a cult? Yeah, but so do a lot of people. It's not that big of a deal. Your man...
I go see their movie.
Your man from Flash, he runs a cult too.
But there's a reason I didn't go see The Flash.
Yeah, but it's just what they do. I don't know. I don't look at people's personal life.
No, it's not. People don't just do this. Sorry, it's not that I'm going to look into people's personal lives. But when you have a person running around Hawaii randomly beating people up, it kind of comes up.
I mean, look, let's kind of, for legal reasons, clear this up. I think in the case of like what Kev's talking about, if you take something like a retreat and make it a commercial venture that you are running and advertising, it is fair game to talk about it with a skeptical eye.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When I go see someone's movie, I'm like, oh, I don't care what they really do to that extent. You know, it's like...
But can you like tune that out of your head though?
Yeah, you know what I was thinking about when I was watching Tron Ares? Oh my God, the soundtrack is great and looks amazing. That's really, you know, for me, I'm there to watch a film, and unless it's like, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Ninth Gate. Roman Polanski is awful, but I really like The Ninth Gate, and
you don't have to look at Roman Polanski during the film though.
That's true, but what he did was so much work.
But also,
not looking to litigate the morality of like creators versus like kind of their artistic output. I think that's a discussion too big for a radio show, possibly after the 55, but certainly not now. But my question that I'm asking is, why is it that like movie makers, because he's going to be the villain in the Master of the Universe next year, why is it he keeps getting these big parts when, as far as I can tell, he doesn't have like a substantial box office, or fan base, you know? Because like, I mean, that's you can't say after Morbius and this that he does.
Well, no, I think, okay, Morbius, as much as I do, like, it is a big thing to put aside, putting Morbius aside for a second.
I know, it's hard.
Loathing him as much as I do still understand that I think there is like I don't want to use the word cult following because of what I just said, but like a distinct following of people, a niche following of people who still like appreciate what he did with 30 Seconds to Mars. And I think we'll still kind of just see him as that without really following up on anything. So I do still think there is a marketability there, but I do think it is waning.
He is also an Academy Award-winning actor, for whatever that is worth.
I can't believe that he... Yeah, like, I don't like 30 Seconds to Mars. I'm not a fan of his band, right? I really haven't. And that actually turned me off watching him in anything for a while, because I was like, oh, his band's very annoying, because it was kind of everywhere. Which is ironic, because it's cult, I don't think about it. I guess it's just because it's not in my face, you know? But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, if I see him in something, I'm like, eh. But like with Ares, I was kind of like, it's fun. I have to go see it. You know, I wasn't going, oh, I can't wait to watch.
That's fair. Yeah.
I can't wait to watch Jared Leto in Tron. It's like, no, but you know what sold me on it? I'll be honest with you. One, I love Tron, and two, Evan Peters.
Yeah, like it's fair. This isn't like I think I will just like emphasize of like, I wouldn't say that this is a horrendous thing he has done that I think you're a bad person for watching it. It's a hurdle I personally couldn't get over, and I think a lot of people can't. But I'm not going to put that on you.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It makes sense though, because I was just like, where's all the hate coming from? And it sounds like it's worth it. But as an actor per se, it's just like, I don't know why he keeps getting all the work he gets. I really can't understand it.
It is deceptively somebody knows someone. And actually, Cian might have a point, just like having the connection enough for just having had the Oscar somehow just like has enough bank to keep getting him roles.
Maybe.
It could be a thing of like, if you have an Academy Award winner on your film, you're entitled to certain this, that, or the others. Or it could be the connections or anything like that, you know?
There are just these people that Hollywood just seems to like for a period of time. Like, as I said, your man in Avatar, Sam Wigglesworth, is that his name? Well,
he was the example he was going to go to next.
Yeah, him, Jai Courtney. There's just these people that like, it's like, how are you still working? You know, it's like...
Well, it's interesting, actually, because you compare that to... I don't want to bring Marvel in for too long, but the interesting thing about Marvel is their machine is so, like, even as quick as it is, if they want to course correct, we won't see the impact for 2 to 3 years. And I wonder, is it a thing with like Hollywood actors where it takes so long to make a movie and pre-production and marketing and all that that by the time they've sort of fallen out of vogue, their films are still coming out for a while, like.
Yeah. And there's going to be that for a while. Like, it's just kind of, it kind of is what it is, like the machine is so big that, as you said, you can't really stop it once it's kind of come out. And there's these contractual agreements as well, but like, for me, the Tron Ares deliver, yeah, it did. There's multiple different aspects going to get against it, and in hindsight, if Disney wanted to win, there was easier ways to get a win. And really, what they could have done is just made a movie based in the grid with Tron versus Evil Tron, and everybody would have, and then had the same soundtrack.
I mean, you make a good point. They didn't play it safe.
They didn't
took a chance on experimental content. I can't fault it for that, certainly.
Mm-hmm. And it's, but then again, like, for me, the world building on this was worth the risk. Did it pay off? No, because it might have killed the franchise. But the Tron franchise has been killed so many times now at this point. It's like, now come on. In about 10 years, someone would be like, let's do Tron again. And someone would be like, hell yeah. So that's what kind of happens. It's like...
The only outcome seems to be you're not waiting 5 years for the Tron movie, you're waiting 10.
Yeah, you're like, just wait. That kid's going to get, like, I guarantee you now, right? There's some kid now about 8 years old. They're going to discover Tron Ares, but they've probably already seen it. It's going to live in their brain for like 10 years. And then they're going to go to film school. And when they get out, they're going to make the next Tron. And that's what's going to happen, because that's what always happens. It's just like, someone discovers Tron and lives in their brain for years. And then they find the means to make another one. And it just goes through a cycle of it bombs commercially. And then everyone's like, oh, let's not do that again. Sure, when Tron Legacy came out, everyone hated it. Now, fairly, there wasn't a cult leader in it, but, I mean, people were still annoyed that...
I mean, people could still hate a cult leader.
I was literally... But, some people didn't like it because, like, Jeff Bridges wasn't the main character. It's like, you can't please everyone with these sequels. It's just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
True, but, like, what Tron Legacy had going for it was the director of, like, Top Gun Maverick. Like... It's a real pretty movie, and it's funny you mentioning IMAX, because one element of it that doesn't translate to TV is that when we saw it in cinema back in the day, the 3D kicked in and the widescreen once you were in the Tron world.
That happens the same with this one.
All 2D up until that point. Is that the same here?
It kind of, sort of, but like that's why it's so interesting, because a lot of it isn't in the grid, and you kind of wish it was. But just the way it's shot. Like I saw it in 4D with my dad, and 4D kicked your ass, because it's like you're in Tron around. He's like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, but it's one of the only handful of times, and even finger full of times, where 4D works. The other one is The Matrix. And whatever it is about kind of coming and going.
The chairs are moving and everything.
Yeah, it's the only time where it kind of worked. And even though in Tron Ares it's a lot more aggressive, it's really, really good. Like this, what I say to you is, and this might be the only selling point of Ares, if you're like, I hate Jared Leto, I don't like any other, I don't like it for any of these other issues, blah, blah, blah. What I will say, and I'll say, it's a cinematic experience, right? The director, he hasn't really made anything that's notable in any way, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, your Maleficent movies, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they're okay. I think he made the second one of that. Yeah, he made the second one.
Okay.
He hasn't really made anything of any kind of substance, but he did make an event movie, and this is an event movie where you watch it in IMAX, you watch it in 4D, you will not be able to replicate that at home. And I would say for that alone, it's worth going to see, going to experience, at least until they release the next Tron or Tron Legacy. Look,
well, this is the other thing we didn't mention that's probably a factor is, even regardless of what you feel about the film or the franchise or Leto or whatever, this will be in Disney Plus in 5 months.
Yeah, but it won't be the stand.
Spectre, I know.
Well, no, and I'm telling you now.
Limited amount of time and money, that's always going to be a factor.
I know, but I'm telling you now, Keen, that is the...
Oh, I get where you're coming from. I'm talking from the audience out there's point of view.
I respect their audience more than that. They know that that's not the same thing. Like, it isn't slop, right? It isn't AI slop. It isn't a Marvel slop.
Ironically.
Ironically, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's actually not a slop movie. And that's why the people are coming at it like, it's like, no, look, put the knives away. They actually made something really quite decent here. you're misguided. And I think it's been attacked from 3 or 4 different places, all with the knives out because they really wanted to be. And it's just, it's not. It's not. Now, here's the thing. Do I wish Finn was the main character or Flynn was the main character? Yes. But he's not. Obviously, they have Tron 4 in the works because they set up Tron 4 at the end. And that's probably when you're going to get Sam back. It's like, have some patience, guys. The same people complaining about, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, they tried something new and you're pooping all over it, Again, though, I wouldn't have put Jared Leto in it myself.
I would make the argument that if it's derivative of other films, it's not really new, though. Even if they're not Tron films.
Well, I don't think it's derivative. The way it's presented.
Okay, well, I mean, I haven't seen it,
Yeah, look, a computer being... A computer that's a computer is going to run like a computer, right? And how do you put that on screen? Well, it's emotionless. They're always going to look emotionless because they're a machine. And then everything goes back to Terminator. It's like, it's very hard to do that, but that really doesn't matter. Like, again, as I said, you're one who plays it.
Even RoboCop as well, AI creation.
It's all kind of the same. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but it's not just a computer that learns, It's not like Jared Leto isn't running around like Arnold Schwarzenegger, It's like, it's more nuanced than that. And it's more like going against your programming and it kind of gets into matrix. And I get all that, but at the same time, it's like I think this kind of brings back where we as an audience have expectations. And for some reason, Tron had all the expectations in the world and it didn't need to be. And we just hit time.
Sorry. Well, I didn't want to cut in an abruptly, but that is going to do it for the show this week.
Yes.
But of course, I would like to thank everyone for listening. If you would like more of what we do, you can check out all of our social media links on nerdtoknowmedia.com. There, of course, you can find links to our YouTube channel, which has our entire back catalogue, thousands of hours of podcasting. So you can check all of our stuff out there and hit us with a subscribe. Of course, always appreciated. Also on our website, if you like what we can do, you can support us through our Patreon is there as well. And until next time, I've been Kev.
I've been there.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Hey.
Thank you for listening to a Nerd to Know Media production.